Let brown turn that frown upside down. Let's make pie.
No, no, I won't. I give up. No, 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 I won't. I give up. No, no, can't deny it. No, no, I won't. I give up. No, no.
This is hashtag Get Fat. What's happening, everybody? Today we're going to be making two different kinds of pie. We're going to do a beef pot pie and also a remix fruit crumble. Let's get this shit started. Simple, easy. Need a bowl. We're going to need some measuring cups, a little sifter, and this stuff we're not worried about right now. Oh, I lied. We need flour. Can't really make pie without any kind of flour. I'm going to grab some butter that I have. Use cold butter, okay? This is 1 cup of butter cut up into little bricks. Doesn't have to be pretty, but seriously, number one biggest thing, make sure that your butter is cold, okay? 1 cup of that. We're going to grab 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour here. You know, out of everything I make in life, I just like baking. You gotta measure, and if you don't measure, you mess shit up. Holy, look at that. It's like Scarface about to happen. Oh, I was gonna sift this. Let's do that. Got thrown off. Sift your flour. You don't really need to sift your flour, but honestly, it just gets rid of a bunch of those clumps that are in there. And second of all, it makes it a lot more, oh, come on, get out of there, Jesus. It makes it a lot more flakier as you're cooking it. 2.5 cups. Well, that was easier. When baking, honestly, use your measuring cups. If you're cooking on the stove, you're doing anything else, whatever, wing it. So 2.5 cups of flour already in there. The biggest thing is before you add your butter, okay, you do want to add a bit of salt in there. I am using salted butter, but, oh, I'm salivating thinking about it. I'm using salted butter, but you definitely want to add a few pinches of salt. Half a teaspoon of salt normally goes all the way through. So before you add your salt, I'm just going to measure it out by hand because just the guy I am. Boom, add that in there. You're going to want to grab yourself a fork. Biggest thing is fork your butter. Fork it. You dirty people, I know what you're just thinking there. Oh, wow. Biggest reason why you do not want to use any melted butter, any butter that's been sitting on the counter, is because you want it to be flaky. This butter, cold butter, will make your dough flaky. You do want to do this at a good time and, of course, in a proper manner. Try not to make a mess, but guaranteed you will. You know what? We're going barbarian styles on this. It is against the rules to use your hands, but honestly, we're going to do this so fast, the butter's not even going to melt. Work the flour over your butter. Start pressing. Get it in there. We should change this episode from making pies to eating butter, because every recipe has a lot of butter. If it is the holidays, by the way, and you're wanting to make your family some pie, and you think you can get away with it, add a little bit of that green butter. That's right. Stuff is delicious. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying it might be. All right, anyways, working this butter throughout here. You want it to be flaky off the bat. It's not going to be moist, okay? But you do want that flaky look. Like, you can see some of the flour falling out, but you got big pieces of this flaky butter coming out. You know, as long as the big chunks are gone, that's all that matters. Don't play with it too much because you don't want to melt that butter. You want to keep it still cold. You still want to keep it going in there. It just gives it a better flavor, number one, and of course the consistency of the flakiness. All right, so we got down to this part. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add 1/2 cup of cold water. Okay, honestly, do not use hot water. Once again, cold butter, cold water. I see you, don't make that mistake. 1/2 cup of water, that was just a little bit shy, so I'm just gonna add a little spritz of extra water in there. Okay, get that working in there. You don't wanna turn this into a dough. Once again, it's just pastry. So let this thing go all the way through. Yes, mix, mix, mix. And last but not least, when you are putting this together, it is not going to stick together like a firm ball right off the bat until we put it back in the fridge. Once that water, that butter, everything makes a proper consistency in this. All right. I fucking hate making pie, but I fucking so delicious. It's like American pie. All right, so it is put together now. You can still see clumps of butter in here. That's exactly what you want. So right here, still a bit flaky. It's still falling apart, but you want that. Get that in there. Plop that on there, okay? Get every last piece of that in there. Remember, butter's not cheap. So that's about $4 worth of butter put into about 10 cents worth of flour. So put that in there, get it nice and tight. If you have 3 hours on your hands, put it in the fridge. We don't have 3 hours on this show. We're gonna put it right in the freezer. Put it in the freezer 20, 30 minutes, leave it in there, pop it in, we'll pop it out after 30 minutes. Stay tuned. Okay, we got our countertops all cleaned up. We got our pie dough in the freezer. So 20, 30 minutes. We're gonna leave it in there for 30 minutes. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Let's grab our vegetables. All right. So smart me, cleaned, washed all my vegetables early. I got some potatoes. I got potatoes. I found another hot pepper. We're gonna use that guy. Carrots, celery, onion, red pepper. Oh, actually, it's a yellow pepper. Close enough. Stupid tomato fucked me up on that one. We're just gonna chop up all your vegetables real quick here. Gonna start off with some celery. It doesn't matter if you start with your celery, your carrots, your onions. It's all gonna go in at the same time. Carrots you can use the skin on. I'm just gonna take the skin off of this, even though it's a rustic dish. To me, it just tastes better. There is no difference in flavor though. Carrots, same thing as the celery. You just want to make sure that they are cut up nicely. You don't want really, really big chunks. When we do cook this down in a bit here, you are going to notice the vegetables will get really soft, and that's what you want. Best part about making a home-cooked food is seriously just finding what you have in your fridge. This onion's probably been in there for a couple days, but we're going to use her. Best part about using an onion that's been in the fridge a couple days, she ain't going to make you cry like every other woman. I mean, what? Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our pan extremely hot here. So crank that guy right on high. Grab a bit of olive oil, canola oil, whatever you feel. I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons worth of that in there. We are cooking beef, so you gotta remember with beef, it does have fat, so you are gonna be able to render that down, and it is gonna create a little bit more of that beefy flavor, so don't go overboard on your oil. We'll get that warmed up a little bit. Then we will dump in our beef. So just to let you know, with these beef pieces, I did buy a massive, massive tenderloin, able to get a bunch of steaks out of it, be able to get a bunch of cube beef, and seriously just went through and I sliced this down. Put everything in the freezer. Don't get rid of this stuff. I know a lot of people will get rid of these meats. Once again, we're saving money, okay? We are in a state of emergency. Save every dollar. Be cheap. Be brown. I'm not playing with my meat now, eh? It's warm. Never put your fingers in the oil. Pan's hot, oil's hot. We're gonna drop our beef in. Make sure you hear that sizzle. If you don't hear that sizzle, you're doing it wrong. Just get that in there. We're gonna brown off the beef before we add in our vegetables. So get your beef in there. Get that cooking down. We're gonna grab a bit of salt. And don't oversalt it because we are making pie, so your pie shells are gonna have a lot of butter in it, which that residual flavor will still come through with the beef. About a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, pepper, yeah, and last but not least, I am going to use a little bit of paprika here. Just going to turn it a little bit red, give it that different look. Flavor, slight different flavor, nothing crazy. Grab my kaka spoon. We're just gonna stir around your beef. We're gonna leave it in here. We're gonna leave it on high. Once again, we're gonna brown this. After browning this, we will add in our carrots, celery, onions, get those flavors moving in there. And then we'll add in some garlic. Cook this guy down. Add a bit of beef stock with our potatoes. We'll cook those down. Let that go through. It's about 45 minutes before we get the proper consistency we need. Let's get up some get about a half a tomato going on here. We're just gonna slightly dice this guy up as well. It doesn't have to be the best. Tomatoes do break down when you are cooking them, so don't have to worry about too much about that. But once again, please be careful with your fingers. If you like your potatoes with the skin on, leave them on. If you like potatoes with the skin off, it's pretty simple. Peel the frickin' potato. I'm gonna go with a half a pepper. Just a little bit more than that. Get rid of those seeds. I have already rinsed these vegetables off just to let you know. But, so pepper, same thing with everything else. Dice them up. They don't have to be proper. They don't have to be perfect. They're just gonna be cut up. When cutting up peppers, once again, as you saw, I did leave a bit of that white membrane in there. Doesn't make too big of a difference. Yes, it does give it a different flavor profile, but honestly, it does not give it a bad flavor. It's not tart, it's not dirty. Just use all your vegetables. That's what they're meant for. Let's give her a quick little stir while we're here. There we go. That beef, lovely color right there. All that flavor coming out of there. Looks great. So just brown your beef down a little bit more here. Break down a little bit more of that fat that is in there. Grab your vegetables, your carrots, your celery, your onions. Your beef's already starting to brown. Get those in there, okay? What we're looking for is a translucent color on our onions. You don't want to add this in early because you don't want to burn it. There's nothing worse than burnt vegetables, especially if you don't like vegetables, you ain't going to eat it. Next, what we will do, just to get all those lovely bits and pieces of that charred beef off the bottom of this pan, we are going to add a little bit of beef broth. If you don't have beef broth that you make homemade, that you buy in a can, a jar, you can go ahead and use that beef powder. I believe they call it beef base. Put a little bit of water in there, add it into here. We're not going to add a lot. We're probably going to put about a quarter, let's call half a cup in there. I'm going to grab my tomatoes and my peppers. We're going to drop that in there as well. There's a lot of liquid that does come out of tomatoes and peppers. So we will add a little bit more of the beef broth in there, but at the moment, we're gonna play with this. Seasoning wise, we are gonna add a little bit more salt, bit more pepper, my man boob shaking. Yeah, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like... All right, anyways, let's stir this. Oh. All right, from here, we are gonna add a little bit more beef broth right into that. That will cook down all the way. Oh, I'm already salivating. From here, we will be using our potatoes that we had. So drain these guys off. Oh yeah, look at that splash. And add that right into the pot. We have a runaway, but it's okay. Mix this up all the way. So once again, making a beef pot pie, you do want it to be a little bit thicker when you put it into the pie shells before we put it in the oven. These potatoes will work that. All of this together will break down. Everything will be soft and delicious. Oh. All right, turn down your heat to about a medium, number 6 possibly. Leave that in there. We're gonna let it cook down for about half an hour. We'll come back to it. We'll taste the seasoning. If there's anything else we need to add, we'll add it to that. Add it to the pot. If not, we'll let it cool down, and then we'll get it into the pastries. Let's get our pie dough out of the freezer. So it's been about 30 minutes since it's been in there. Just kind of hard as a rock now. No, not really, which is a good thing. Pull your saran wrap off of this, okay? Number one rookie mistake everybody makes is not putting any flour down on their counters. You don't want this stuff to stick. Be good, nice generous portion. What was that guy's name again? They called me Tony Montana. I got it on my face? Damn. All right. So I'm gonna cut this guy into half real quick here. Just gonna grab my knife. Use a cutting board. If you don't know how to use a knife, don't cut it on your counter because you're really gonna fuck shit up. And if you live at home, your mama's gonna beat you. So 3/4 of it we will keep. We will use this for the bottom half of the pan. We'll use this for the top. But you know what? We're gonna make a crumble. So use as much of this dough as you want. I'm gonna use 3/4 to begin with. If you look into this dough real quick, you're gonna see the marbleization that's happened. You're gonna see butter pieces, you're gonna see some flour. That is the money shot. You see that thing? That is butter. I just drilled. Welcome to the butter show. All right, we got some flour out there. Move this knife away before you cut yourself. You are gonna grab your rolling pin, okay? Put a little bit of that lovely dust on there. It's just gonna help the pastry from actually sticking to your rolling pin. We're gonna start rolling this guy out. I don't know how to use a rolling pin properly. We're gonna do it this way. It is gonna start kind of cracking on you a little bit here and there. Don't worry about it, okay? It is pastry. You can put it back together. Oh yeah. Depending on how thick you want your bottom crust to be, you can either roll it all the way out, make it thin, or you can make it thick. And honestly, if you're eating pastries, you want a good piece of pastry in your mouth when you scoop that in there. All right. Keep turning this guy a little bit. You don't want the top and bottoms to start sticking. A little bit more flour ain't gonna hurt. A little bit more on your rolling pin as well. Get that going on in there. Roll this guy out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, see, it broke again, but it's okay. Nice little roly roly. Nice little roly roly. You want to get this out roughly about, how big is this? 1/4 inch? Yeah, roll out to about 1/4 inch. I passed in shop class. I'm gonna grab my pie pan now, okay? Leave it over there. Put this guy on top. You do want it to be a little bit bigger than this, than your apparatus you're gonna be using. Reason why, and I will show you real quick, is I par-baked off a few of these pastry shells for my beef pot pie, and literally, they shrunk down, okay? I know better than that. I was in a rush. Thank God I'm cooking for home. But you do want it to be a little bit bigger than that all the way around. So, looks good to me. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna prop it right on top, okay? So get that right in there. Center it the best you can. If it has broken a few places, just put her back together. All right, she's in there. Make sure your oven is on. Make sure it is set to 400 degrees, okay? Grab a knife, be careful. Trim the outside of this. You can keep this, okay? Once again, making pastry dough is not cheap. You are using butter, as I am, or you can use shortening. But I love the flavor of butter, and nothing beats butter. Trim this guy all the way around. And honestly, there's so much butter in this pastry, it is not gonna stick to the outside or on the inside part of this pan. Get your crust in there. Get her molded around the side a little bit. Keep that height at all points in time. Oh, damn. Pie crust in there. It's not pretty, it's not gorgeous, but she'll do the trick. No, don't eat that stuff. So our filling for the beef pot pie is almost ready. We are gonna grab our pie shells that we pre-baked off earlier. Okay, we will fill these guys up, and as I said, nothing really sticks to these because there's so much butter on this. Next, make sure there's just so much butter on this. Make sure before you put these pies in the oven, put them on a tray with some parchment paper. The last thing you want to do is spend a Sunday afternoon scrubbing the crap out of your oven, or being lazy and turning on your oven every single time and listening to your smoke alarm go off because shit is burning. Don't do it. Okay, we're gonna grab our filling. Bring it over to our pies. We're gonna slowly add in your filling, okay? It does look a little bit dry, but I'm telling you right now, there's gonna be so much juice under and in here still. It's gonna be a game changer. So fill up your pie shells with as much as you feel. Oh, damn. And as you can see, I did not make a slurry with any kind of cornstarch or flour to make this thick. Like the juice in this is thick. I know you're looking at me being like, oh, I could have gone to the supermarket, gone through the freezer aisle and been like, oh, let me pick this up. Let me tell you one thing. We know what we've put in this. You know how you've cooked this. You're missing all the extra preservatives all these manufacturers are putting in your food. Seriously, get fat, eat food properly, and do it well. You think I fit the spoon in my mouth? Like all the way? Let's find out. It's hot though, eh? Huh, I did. Oh, it's hot. Woo! All right, let's move this pan out of the way here. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cap these guys off real quick, okay? It's gonna be simple and easy. I'm gonna put on a lid that I used. So it's the rest of the pie dough I have. I've already pre-rolled those out. I'm gonna put them on top. I am gonna score the top a little bit as well. I'm gonna grab one egg, I'm gonna beat it, gonna beat that egg. And then I'm gonna put these in the oven. The egg is gonna be an egg wash on top, which is gonna give it a nice glistening look on the pastry and still give you that nice crispy flavor and that crumbly flavor that we're all looking for. Let's grab me one egg. Don't mind all my condiments, they're delicious. One egg. Grab top of these pie shells I created. They're not pretty, they don't have to look pretty. I'm just actually gonna throw that right on top. There's nothing wrong with having extra pie crust to munch on. Like ever. Like if this was already cooked, I'd just eat it the way it is. Oh yes. Did I do it right? Did I count right? I feel like I did not count properly here and I should go back to school because there's only one left. Ah well, I'll leave this out for Simon and myself to munch on. Move this guy around a little bit. And once again, this parchment paper is one of the greatest things, like spooning everything onto here. Anything that's fallen off of there or you miss with the spoon, just stays on there. Grab my little handy dandy knife. I am going to score the top. This is going to allow that steam to escape because there's going to be a lot of steam still coming off of these vegetables and the filling. So score the top a little bit. Doesn't matter the way you want to do it. You want to put like extra lines in it. You want to make a couple X's. Hey, it's a holiday season. You got a family member you don't like? Carve a wiener in there. Oh, yes. That's done. Let's grab ourselves a bowl. Grab your egg, bowl. I know some people add milk to this. There's no point of adding milk. Does nothing for anybody. Grab a fork. And then we're just gonna beat it. Just beat it. I love Michael Jackson. I don't care what anybody has to say. A hero of mine. Nice egg beating over there. You know what? Let's do a change up on this one. We're gonna do a pie roulette, even though we already know what that pie is gonna be. Let's add some spicy cheese to this. Oh, just my luck. I have like the littlest piece of habanero cheese. If I can get it out of this. Like, holy, who wrapped this thing? That was me. But seriously, how did I wrap this? All right, handy dandy knife. Just be careful, putting it on top. Get it on there, get it throughout there. Once again, you remember, you're cooking at home. You're not, even if you're cooking for guests, this will be a conversation starter right here. And who doesn't like cheese? I love cheese. Cheese on my potatoes, cheese on my pierogies, cheese on my nachos, cheese on my fries. Like cheese on everything, yo. Like, oh. All right, got our egg beaten up over there. Get rid of that fork. Find the smallest brush in your freaking cabinet or in your drawer. And then we're just gonna paint over top just a little bit. If you're allergic to eggs or you just don't like eggs, just don't add this on top. You're not cooking for the queen, so seriously, do as you feel. Screw you, Gordon Ramsay. This is home cooked food, not poshy, look at me, my food looks amazing. And probably tastes like, probably tastes good, but still. All right, got that in there. We're gonna put these into the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes or until the tops are golden brown. So let's get that right in there. Oh, she's a warm one. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up a little bit here. Then we're gonna start on our dessert, which once again is remix fruit pie. All right, so we have our pies in the oven. They are starting to look good. They've been in about there for about 8 minutes now. We're gonna let them continue going for another 12 minutes until the top is golden brown, okay? We are gonna start on our remix fruit cobbler right now, okay? I seriously just went in through my fridge, my freezer. I found some frozen strawberries, blueberries. Blueberries are delicious. Once again, they help you with BMs. And honestly, if you're that person that likes to play that game, when you have a blueberry stuck to the side of the toilet, this will give you that opportunity to do that. Some brown sugar, heavy cream, granola for the top, okay? You can use cereal granola. You can use anything you'd like. These were packs of something and, oh man, they're delicious. Some more vanilla, apple, lemon, cinnamon, and once again, welcome to the butter show. Get your pan heated up here real quick, okay? We're gonna throw in the butter. We're gonna throw in some of the brown sugar. We're gonna let that cook down. You don't wanna cook it on high. You do not wanna burn your butter at all. I still got nuts in my mouth. Let me just chew this. Grab an apple. If you like to eat the core, like I know a few people that do, save it and eat it. You nasty. Since this is a dessert pie, you do want to keep your apple slices and all your other fruits pretty thin all the way through. Like, you can almost see through that. Once again, it's always nice to have it cut off the bottom so it doesn't roll on you. Do not use a dull knife. It will give you a bigger opportunity on slicing off one of your digits. Blueberries, you do not have to cut them. They are full of juice and water. They just explode when they cook. All right. Strawberries. Same thing with the apples, okay? The nice thing with using frozen strawberries, as you can see, they are easier to cut. You get a couple big pieces in there, no worry. Break it down a little bit. Don't throw your strawberries out, guys. Don't throw your blueberries out. You buy a pint of blueberries, make sure they're washed, let them dry all the way down, put them in a freaking Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. Make sure you label it. Same thing with your strawberries. Don't throw this stuff out. You're paying $8 for a little clamshell of these things. You're wasting money. Don't do that. Pan is heated up. I'm gonna grab some butter. So I'm gonna go with about a half cup of butter here. Oh, come on. You can work with me. Work with me. Scoop that out of there. Put it in your pan. Your pan is warm, so pull it off the heat. We're just gonna melt this guy down a little bit, okay? We're gonna turn this butter just a slight brown color on here, okay? It's gonna give it a different flavor profile. Don't put it back on the stove. The pan is hot enough. Let that go. We're gonna turn down the stove as well. We're gonna turn it down to a minimal amount here. Turn it on low. Stir that butter in there. Let that go. Once you start seeing your butter starting to brown, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your brown sugar that you have. Brown sugar is so delicious. Look at that. And don't throw your brown sugar away either. Honestly, you're looking in your freaking cabinet, in your cupboard, wherever you keep it, and it's hard, throw a piece of bread in there. It'll solve all of your problems. It won't be instant, but it'll be close. Butter's in there, starting to brown a little bit. We're gonna add our brown sugar in there. Get that mix in there slowly. That butter, that sugar, it's gonna start breaking down. It's gonna start getting sticky and icky and delicious. Once again, make sure your stove is on low. You do not want to burn this. You don't want to turn this into you standing over your sink for the next 20 minutes scrubbing this pan or getting pissed off and throwing it over your balcony into somebody else's backyard. So let that sit there, but consistently keep stirring that, okay? On low, life is good that way. Get back over to our fruits over here. When that starts bubbling, I'm going to add in some heavy cream. The heavy cream is going to give it that silky, amazing texture when you take a bite of everything, and it's just so seductive. Who said that? Snoop Dogg. Love Snoop. I am just going to use a little bit of this lemon peel, okay? You don't want to get all the way down to the white, but you want to get there so you're not using a lot, and it's seriously just a little piece. A little piece of lemon zest will go a long way in any kind of baking, especially in fruit pies. So we're just gonna finally dice this up. If you have a grater, use a grater. I just don't feel like washing more dishes than I need to. So if you're careful enough, get this broken down. So we got our blueberries, we got our strawberries, we got an apple, we got a little bit of lemon zest. I'm gonna let that cook down just a bit. So check on this. Right there is what you want to see. So those granules of sugar are slowly starting to break down. The butter is penetrating it. You can smell it. Like, bro, can you smell that? Can you smell that? Do you smell what I'm cooking? Once again, a little bit of that lemon goes a long way as well with every ingredient. You don't want to hide your fruits. You just want to have a few extra tones of flavors in your mouth. Oh, in your mouth. All right, so that's already ready to go. That's starting to rev. I'm gonna grab a bit of cinnamon. We're gonna throw in about half a teaspoon of cinnamon in there. Mix that through. Once again, another note that you're smelling. Just deliciousness. Get that mixed all the way through. We're gonna grab some of our heavy cream that we have. This is gonna balance it out. Just remember your cream is cool. So you are gonna create a little bit of bubbles, but you wanna work that in slowly. We'll change the whole dynamic of this all over again. Let everything work together. Once you put a little bit of that cream in there, everything kind of gets tempered, okay? You want to keep that going. Add a little bit more cream in there. If you don't got cream, you can use anything. 2% milk, 1% milk. You can use evaporated milk. Honestly, use whatever you have. I don't care. If you got powdered milk, use powdered milk. Don't laugh, because I grew up on that stuff when I was younger. So we're gonna go in with our apples. We're gonna go in with our strawberries. We're gonna go in some blueberries. There's only 4 left in there. Pop them in there. Give that a nice little stir around. Just get that jiving in there. All those flavors mixing together. That caramel getting covered on all those pieces of fruit. Fuck. Once again, make sure your stove is off. You don't want to burn any of this. Just let that residual heat do its thing. Break down these apples, make them a little bit more softer. We will be putting this in the oven as well. While we're waiting for that, let's look at our pies. They're almost there. Starting to turn color just a bit. We want a little bit more on there. So 8 more minutes. Those pies are going to be ready. Let's just break a little piece of that off. Here, try this pie crust. It's hot. Salty, buttery, delicious. Before you put that in there, you are going to par bake this as well. Make sure you grab a fork. You grab your fork, you grab your pie. You definitely want to pierce through this, okay? You want to penetrate, but you don't want to penetrate this all the way through the core and like hit the glass at the bottom, because all that juice is going to run through the bottom and it's going to make that flaky, delicious pastry. It's just going to make it moist and you're just not going to be happy with the outcome. So pierce it through slowly, all the way, not all the way through, but penetrate the skin, the top of it. It will help the pie crust from when it does rise to not rising all the way. So it'll allow the seam to evaporate from all that butter that's in there. Get the sides of the pie as well. And just fork it, fork it, fork it, fork it. It's like a workout video. Just fork it, just fork it. She's forked. I'm gonna throw this into the oven as those are cooking as well. I'm gonna leave it out at the bottom. Give ourselves an extra few minutes of cooking time. That will cook down. Those are almost ready. We'll be right back. So those beef pot pies have been cooking in the oven with that lovely layer of extra pastry on top for about 20 minutes. Let's yank them out of the oven here. Oh yes, nice golden brown. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Beautiful color, everything on there. Love it. Let's plate one of these up. What do you guys think? Let's get to this guy. Moved over to, whoo! I almost dropped him. All that work for no reason. Let's get those guys over there real quick. One of these guys. Very gently. Take one of those pies, pull it out. We got 2 different ways to do this, and we're gonna do it. That's hot. Beautiful pie, gorgeous looking. It is hot, so let's just break into this. Nice and steamy, delicious looking. Gorgeous. Smells good. Just gotta put it in my mouth. We're just gonna give it a second here. Oh, besides the fact of me burning the roof of my mouth and my tongue, that's some damn good pie. Oh, that crust, everything. Nothing to say. We're gonna let those slide over there for a quick second. What we're gonna do, finish off, because we're about to smash some dinner here. Let's get dessert started. And let's finish this guy off. Woo! Get your pie crust out. This one here is for the remix fruit cobbler. So as you can see, it's been par baked. It did rise a little bit more. Oh, jeez. That smell, that smell. All right, you're gonna carefully pour this on top, okay? So our full mixture we put in here with our blueberries, our strawberries, and apple, and all of that lovely homemade caramel sauce. Oh my God. Get that in there. I got some crumble mixture, okay? So I got some pecans, I got some peanuts in here, I got some almonds, I got some sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, oats. Like, you can put anything you want in here. If you're allergic to any of this, of course, don't put it in there. 'Tis the season, so if somebody pisses you off or you want to break up with the next real quick and they don't have their EpiPen, do it up. No, don't do it, okay? Like, disclaimer, don't do that. I did not tell you to do that. Let's get this on there. Make sure it's a nice layer all the way through. That caramel sauce will start bubbling on top of this, so when it does come through, it is going to stick to it extremely well. Once again, that's what she looks like right there. Like, look at that. Look at that. Smells good, looks delicious. Let's get it in the oven. This is going to take about, call it 12 to 15 minutes. Let's go 15 minutes exact. Your fruits will be cooked down a lot more. They'll be softer. You may still have a little bite from that apple, but honestly, can't go wrong with that. Move this out of the way. Pie's been in there for about 15 minutes now. Let's yank this guy out of the oven. Let's take a look. The smell in here is amazing. It's just taken away from the beef pies. Oh, and it's brought us down to this. Look at this pie I'm about to pull out. Crispy, beautiful. Caramel's all in there, as you can see. Caramel. All that is gorgeous. If you want your crust to be a little bit darker, leave it in there for an extra few minutes. But this is the way I like it. Right there and then. Let brown turn that frown upside down. And let's smash some pie. This is #GetFat.